The B-29 Superfortress was without a doubt the most advanced bomber of the Second World War. Nevertheless, the working as a bomber is not necessarily safer. Was this flying superfortress back then really progressive? It had flight computers and targeting systems for the gun turrets. In addition, all occupation areas pressure ventilated, which makes flying in it much more comfortable. But this changes also made the bomber much more complex and complicated, although he larger than its predecessors. And that adding new technologies led interestingly, it also means that gave more opportunities to his crew to kill. In this video, I analyze the interior of this mysterious bomber and compare it with previous American models. And of course, we will travel through the curious paths, talk about these new technologies could kill. If you bad luck in these super flying fortresses, then make it better comfortable and be cordial. Welcome to the whole club. Challenges in the Pacific. In 1940, the United States American High Command, much more concerned about the situation in the Pacific as about the situation in Europe. The war with Japan was inevitable, therefore were long-range bombers needed to cross the Pacific. The B-17 Flying Fortress and the new B-24 Liberator were pretty good. The B-17 had a range of 3,800 kilometers. But in the Pacific, the flights were almost always really long, and the available bombers were hardly designed to the crew extremely long missions. Inside these aircraft, a bomber was needed that could do more bombs, a longer range and better equipment for long flights had. In addition, the Air Force would request for an even bigger bomber than the currently developed one. The B-24 Liberator and Boeing would competition against consolidated with the B-29. This prototype was built in 1942, known as the B-29 Superfortress. Its services and improvements. It goes without saying that he accepted over its competitors was because the B-29 is a larger and much more mature version of the already successful B-17. With the new model, they doubled the range loaded to about 5,000 kilometers, as in ferry flight, after the bombs dropped and the machine was empty. This range could be increased to 7,000 kilometers, exactly what the Air Force, the B-29, could carry 15 tons carry bombs, while the B-17 hardly 7.5 tons and already was overloaded. And of course the big improvement over the previous version that all crew compartments were pressurized. This was a big step forward compared to the earlier bombers because it was much more pleasant to be in to stop. Oxygen masks were only used in fight needed to survive the extreme cold, a heating system. All these improvements enabled the United States of America to win World War II in the Pacific.